Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel.
Hello stranger, it's been a minute since we last kicked it. By the way, just got in town, and I won't let you miss this club.
Or welcome if you're new, and if you are new, where the fuck have you been, girl? I've been waiting for you to find my channel so we can hang out. Like, it's just, I think it's just very rude and inconsiderate how long it's taken you. All right, y'all, today is going to be part 2 of the last story that I uploaded. Y'all have been messaging me, like cult messaging me, being like, girl, I know you did not leave us on a cliffhanger like that just to disappear for 2 weeks. Now, I didn't disappear, okay? Y'all just don't watch my other content, and that sounds like a you problem and a me problem. No, but for real, like, watch my other content, okay? Because it's not just story times, girl. Period. It's not just story times, all right? I just uploaded a juicy ass Q&A answering so many questions about myself. Also giving y'all advice. This perfume is so good. It's a Fresh Cream Warm Cashmere from Philosophy. Purr. I do apologize. I totally understand what you guys are talking about. Like, it was a juicy story, but we're gonna pick back up where we left off today on the Daycare series. Valentine's Day is my favorite holiday. This is what I could come up with for the moment. I think it's okay. I mean, it's something, right? But we're gonna be doing a Valentine's Day look today, and I'm gonna be using the Anastasia Sultry palette. Oh no, yeah, it is a sultry palette, and this color right here, oh my god, it's just gonna look so good. So yeah, girl, if you would like to hear the story time, all you gotta do is sit back, relax, grab your wine, grab your snacks, grab a notepad. Okay, and let's get on into this story time. If you are new here or you just are yet caught up, basically I'm telling a story time on the daycare that I used to work at. I used to work at a daycare for about, I want to say it was like 5-6 years. So much stuff happened. There was so much drama because y'all know when you're working in a place full of girls, you are cycling at the same time. There's different hormones. There's different age groups. I don't care what anybody says. The biggest haters are like older women. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Not in life, just like at jobs. Like when like they're just like miserable and they want to take it out on you, or they treat you as if like you're different because you're young. Like at this time when I started, I was freshly 19. So I was the youngest one there. Like there was a boatload of people there. Early 20s or mid 20s, and then there were some women who were like in their 40s, 50s, and sometimes there was women who also like in their 60s, and that's perfectly fine. Like, I'm not saying anything about that, but what I'm saying is like is when they try to treat you differently because you're younger, stuff like that. So that was one thing that I could not stand about working there, was some of the girls that I worked with. Oh my god, y'all, there was this one teacher that I was with. First day that I ever worked with her, told me her whole entire life story, literally her whole entire life story. And she was just like the most she was like in her, I think she had like just turned like 32 or something, so she was like fairly young, still had a life ahead of her, but she was just so miserable that she would take it out on like everybody else. She was so condescending. She was like, I'm just honest. I don't know why you guys, I don't know why people always get mad at me. I'm honest. Like,
no girl, you're rude. There's a difference.
A fine line in between being honest, like me, like someone who's gonna tell you like it is, but from a place of love and care, versus somebody who's condescending and miserable, and so they're projecting. Okay, she was like literally Patty the projector. Insane, crazy. But that's a story for another time. Today's story is going to be about how my director ended up getting fired. Staff came in and shook some stuff up. Okay, we're going to talk about a girl who was, oh, she was on something. I have no doubt in my mind that she was literally on something working at this place. And my boss was like,
oh, it's okay. It's fine.
No, girl, it's not okay. One of my coworkers actually broke into this girl's phone just to see the tea and just to see if she... just to see if she really was like on something or not. Her friend ended up confirming it. Girl, it was crazy. But anyway, we're gonna get into the tea. But before we start today's video, we do have a word from today's sponsor. So Future Dakota, take it away. Before we get started with today's video, I did really quickly want to shout out my friends over at Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. If you don't know what Skillshare is, now is an amazing time, especially with the new year coming, because they have a great deal. Wait till the end of this, you want to hear about it. And I'm just gonna quickly explain to you kind of what Skillshare is, what they're about, about, why I personally love them, why I think you will love them too. So Skillshare is basically an online learning community. They have thousands of classes for people to take for anyone who's looking to build a new skill, a new habit, or just looking to boost their creativity. And Skillshare does not stop at just like yoga, okay? They have cooking, photography, it's on organization, like literally anything you could think of, graphic design, anything at all, they have right there on the website for you. The reason why I love Skillshare, honestly, is the convenience factor. You can do Skillshare directly from your home or directly from your office. You can even do it in your car, on your phone, tablet, computer, anywhere at any time. You can go ahead and log into your account and take a class right there on the spot. If you're a bit more introverted, or maybe you just are a little bit anxious to be around a lot of people, Skillshare is going to be amazing for you and you're going to love it. I personally started taking yoga classes on there recently. My instructor's name is Eva Schroeder, and she is just honestly amazing. I really wanted to do yoga going into the new year, but I was really apprehensive about going into a studio with a bunch of people that I didn't know. I have never taken yoga in my life before. I was afraid to be judged. Maybe I wouldn't know the moves or something like that. So the fact that I was able to practice at first at home with Skillshare was something that I was extremely fond of. So just the flexibility, because I am a single mother and sometimes I don't have somebody to always babysit my daughter, or sometimes I just don't have the time. So incorporating this yoga class at the end of the night after I put my daughter to bed into my routine has helped me so much. My muscles feel amazing. I'm super stretched. Everything just feels nice and in alignment, and it helps me get a better night's sleep. Going into the new year, one of my main goals was to start pouring into myself. I feel like I'm always pouring into literally everybody else, and I never take the time just for me. And that is the thing with New Year's resolutions is of course we want them, but sometimes because we don't have that accountability or like somebody to be like, hey, you have to do this at this time, assign a task so we complete it, that's why resolutions normally never get done. So what I love about Skillshare is that it gives me something to look forward to at the end of the day, and it's right there so I have no excuse. If I were to like do a class and have to drive 15 minutes, I'd be like, oh, it's raining today, I don't want to drive, and then that's my excuse not to go. But there really is no excuse, because Skillshare is literally right there at any time for you to go ahead and complete your class. The classes are not long, they are super easy, not time consuming at all. I think that sometimes having something to look forward to at the end of the day really does help alleviate the hardships that go on throughout the day. So if you guys want to go ahead and try Skillshare, they're giving you guys an absolutely amazing deal that I really encourage you to go ahead and check out. The first 1,000 people to go ahead and click the link directly in my bio, super easy, just go in my bio, click it, boom, you're there. We'll get Skillshare for a month completely free. There's literally nothing to lose here, you guys. Like, it's free. You don't have to spend any money. It's right there in my bio. So just go ahead and try it. Why not? If you have resolutions and you want to align with them, I think Skillshare is an amazing way to start. Again, first 1,000 people to go ahead and click the link in my bio will get Skillshare for a month completely free on me. Thank you, Skillshare, so much for sponsoring this video. Now let's go ahead and get on into it. All right, so we left off last, I believe we were talking about how everything kind of started to go back to normal. How is this dead? I have no words. I have no fucking words. None. Not even a single one. Spencer and I, you know, we talked, we got back on good terms. Emily and I got back on good terms. Paige, I was never really like had beef with, but I definitely was kind of just like side-eyeing a little. And then Hannah, we don't fuck with Hannah. We don't talk about Bruno. But no, we don't fuck with Hannah. Like, sorry, but she's a snitch, and you know what happens to snitches around here. I kept it cordial with her though. I mean, you kind of have to. What is wrong with me? I don't know why you guys watch me, because I just be in my own little world around here. Maria had been fired, so there's that. And the only person that I really still had like, not beef with, but like, me and Allison never went back to normal. And it was sad because me and Allison were really close. When she had first started working there, I really liked her, she really liked me. We opened up about a lot. This was actually during the time where I was dating Adrian, and I remember like when I first started dating Adrian, he would come by all the time and visit me on my lunch breaks. He would like bring me pizza, and we would just sit there because I had like an hour lunch break, and we would just like talk, or we'd go to like for a walk, or like go to like the gas station across the street or something. And she would like be so supportive of me and him, because you know, Adrian, this was during the time where I was in a toxic relationship with him, and she would just give me advice. Like, she would be there for me if I needed her, and she just always knew when something was wrong with me. I always knew if something was wrong with her. She opened up to me a lot, and for a Gemini to open up to you like that, is very rare, very far few in between. And Allison was a Gemini. Loved my daughter, like she loved Aubrey so much. When Aubrey had to move classrooms and go into the toddler classroom, she was like so sad. I remember when I moved classrooms, I moved across the hall, but we're still kind of like working together, just not as it used to be because I wasn't in the classroom with Allison anymore. We used to have like prank wars on each other. So there was like one day where I wanted to fuck with her. This is just how I am in general. I prank everybody. And I also like, I scare everybody. I used to like scare my mom walking in the house with groceries when I was younger. She would literally, I still do it to this day. Like it's so, like if I'm at her house visiting her and she walks in, like I scare her. I do it to Aubrey. I'm just like a little prankster. I don't know what's wrong with me. And one day someone's gonna get me back. One day I sent her an envelope full of glitter. Like it literally had like a shit ton of glitter in it because we weren't allowed to leave our rooms. Like we were like prisoners in this daycare. Literally, we all had to stay in our rooms 24/7. The only time that we were allowed to come out is if we were bringing the kids outside or for our lunch breaks. There was no bathrooms. You had to go to the like the main public bathroom upstairs. So if you needed to go to the bathroom, you had to call for a bathroom break. And like half the time the director or assistant director didn't come. And it was because they were like genuinely busy, and I understand that, but it's like hire someone just to do bathroom breaks then. Or why aren't the floaters coming? Like it was just, like there would be floaters, which basically if you're a floater, you just come there and kind of help out with lunch breaks and shit like that. They would hear people calling and they would just not go because they would be like too into their conversation with whatever teacher they were gossiping with. Somebody commented on my last video and basically like everyone knows what daycare I'm talking about, but they're just not saying it. By the way, don't do that. Don't be messy. Do not comment down below what daycare you think it is or where you think I'm talking about, because that's what we're not doing, okay? The purpose of this story time is to laugh, is to have fun, but also be educated on what it's like to work at a daycare. And if you're gonna go ahead and, y'all saw what happened when you did it to Nikki Glamour. Y'all saw what happened with the whole Stepsister series when y'all tried to get messy and get people involved and to call this person and that. Y'all saw what happened. She took the videos down and she stopped the series. So if you want the series to continue, be mature, be a grown adult, and don't comment down below. And if you did comment down below, I'm not calling you out. I'm just talking about the ones that were like specifically messy and we're trying to be like, yeah, you know who you are. But anyway, do that. We're calling it, I don't even remember what I called it. This is bad. I need to like really start to write this shit down. We don't talk about Bruno. I need to get evaluated for ADHD. I actually am. As I'm looking for the name, somebody commented on my last video and she said, my daycare is the same except we have 5 people in leadership. None of them help us in the classrooms. They overwork us and gossip in front, doing the bare minimum. People are quitting left and right. Our director left recently. Like, no, but like for real, that's like the thing about working at daycares that I absolutely cannot stand, is they just don't help you. It's kind of like a fend for yourself, you'll figure it out type of thing. And they'll spend their whole time being up there just gossiping, talking shit. They would, like, certain directors would literally, you guys, talk crap about some of the staff like in front of us. Like I would come out there to like be like clocking out or clocking in, and I genuinely, I live my life by this motto: mind your business. Mind your business. Water, drink it. Drink it, because you're looking a little bit dehydrated over there, bitch, okay? Like, you're a little bit dehydrated over there. You look like you need to drink some water. You haven't drank no electrolytes in 2 years because you're too busy flapping your gums about how this person is this and that person is that. Look at yourself in the mirror. I bet you aren't much better. You're probably below them. You already are below them because you're gossiping and talking shit. So, dehydrated Deborah, go do something with your life. Sorry, somebody needed to hear that. Anyway, like they would sit there and they would just like gossip, and I would walk up and I would hear it because, hello, like the front door is fucking open of the office. I could hear what you're talking about. As I mind my business, they knew that if they said anything about somebody in front of me that I wasn't gonna go like tell that person, because I don't care. I'm here for a paycheck. I'm here to support my daughter, and that's it. Like, I never gave them no problems. Never gave them no problems. I'm not saying which director it was. Y'all know who you are if you're watching, which if you are watching, please log off because this ain't for you. This is for the girls. But basically, they would talk crap, and then like I'd walk up and they would just continue to do it, and then they would try to like get me involved in it, and I'm like, girl, get out of here. No, we're not doing that. You see, you tried it, you had the right idea but wrong, bitch. They would do that. Like, I'm telling you, daycares are so culty, they're so cliquey, and they're so gossipy. It's literally like high school on crack. Daycare, I think I called it, did I call it apple pear? Y'all, I just tried to watch my video to see what I called it, but I don't have time to like sit there for hours, Dakota. Like, why do you make such long videos? I'm gonna call it apple pear, okay? So anyway, me and Allison just never really went back to normal. Like, we were so close. Funny because like present day, me and Allison are so cool. I haven't talked to her in a while. Maybe I'll message her when I get off of here. She's a cool girl. I think that the thing is that we were just young, you know, we were young, we were being fed information that was not accurate, people who needed to grow up, and you know, it is what it is. But the important thing is that we grew and we learned and we changed from it. But it was sad because like I genuinely did enjoy my relationship with her. So before me and Emily had gotten good again, and it's so funny because me and Emily still hang out to this day. I literally just hung out with her last week. I just love her so much. So before me and Emily got back good again, I forgot to tell you guys this story in the past one. Just to give you a brief description of how downhill this daycare was going. So like I said, the assistant director had left, basically pushed her out of the office, pushed the assistant director out of the office. She had the office for like the regular director and then the assistant director. And when director number 2 had come to Apple Pear in order to take over, I had a new director basically every year. It was sickening. It's not supposed to be that way in a daycare at all. It's so inconsistent with the kids, with the families, whatever. She came in, she pushed the assistant director out of the office and made her like go like make like a makeshift desk in the lobby. And so the assistant director was like, you're not treating me like that. Like, I don't know who you think you are, but like, right idea, wrong bitch. So she left. When she left, the whole place just started to go down into shambles. Like, parents were complaining literally left and right, because when you have just one person running the whole entire place, that is not good, because the daycare opens at 6:30 and closes at 6:30. You're gonna do a 12-hour shift? She just was just in over her head. And I will give her some, like, I will cut her some slack, because I fully understand that she didn't have any support and she was doing it by herself. But the thing is too, is that they were interviewing assistant directors to come in to like take over the position, and every person that would come in and they would hire would quit within like 2 days because they couldn't handle director number 2. Basically for like 4 months she was running the place by herself, and it was an absolute shit show. So many parents were coming in and complaining. So many parents were like, the building is disgusting, it's dirty, like I don't feel comfortable sending my kids here. Because what they did was they fired the cleaning crew. We were left to every single night shut the rooms down by ourselves. And like I was saying in the past video, when the daycare closes at 6:30, and they were stingent, I don't know if that's a word, stingent about stingy, sure, about overtime. Like, you could not have overtime. Like, they couldn't, they would always tell us like, can't afford to give you guys overtime, you can't stay anywhere past 5 minutes after closing, otherwise it's like we're gonna have to cut your hours. And they would just like literally be like, every single staff meeting was based around that. And that's another thing too, is staff meetings completely stopped. They completely stopped and they weren't happening anymore. So we weren't meeting once a week to talk about any issues. Nobody was able to voice their concerns. If somebody wanted to voice a concern, director number 2 just genuinely, and I will say she didn't have time. She really did not have time to hear it because she had so much going on. It was just a shit show. Fire the cleaning crew. And like I said, if parents come to pick up their kids at 6:30, and I have a kid till 6:30, but you're saying that I can't stay anywhere past 5 minutes, how am I supposed to vacuum, mop, wipe down the surfaces, take my toys down to the sanitizers, put everything away, put all the books back, wipe them with Lysol, clean up all the dishes, bring those downstairs, and take out my garbage all in 5 minutes? You're bugging. So it was just really, it was dirty. It was dirty. They would push us out the building. They'd be like, oh, just do it tomorrow. Just do it tomorrow. Girl, when is their time tomorrow? Because not for nothing, but we'd come in and we'd be so over ratio. I don't know how this place hasn't gotten shut down yet, but it'd be so over ratio. There would be like 12 kids in one room with like one teacher. And the teacher would be calling, being like, I need a staff, because you had to have two teachers to 8 kids, one teacher to 4 kids. That is so illegal. If the state were to come in and see that, we would have been shut down immediately. There was just never time to clean, and the parents were complaining, like they were calling like Board of Education or whatever it is. It was really, really bad. So this one time, right, this parent had complained about something that went on at the daycare, and DCF was coming to investigate. 24 hours before, they will call and be like, hey, we're coming. Like, get your shit together. I don't know what lashes I want to do. I don't know if I want to do leisure or if I want to do round trip. I think, oh wait, it's a Valentine's Day look. So girl, we're doing pink lashes. We're doing sassy. So there was this one room in the daycare that wasn't used, and by state law, every single classroom is supposed to be like set up. Even if you're not using it, it has to be set up. And this daycare was curriculum curriculum based. So you had to go by a guideline of what you're teaching the kids, what you're putting in the curriculum. You had to have a new theme every single month. There was stations inside of the classrooms, like art, sensory, library, whatever, that had to be set up. And this one room was completely blank. They did nothing with it, and it was just literally blank. So they got the call at 6:15 that they would be there at 6 a.m. the next morning. So the director is freaking the fuck out. So before me and Emily got back cool again, she came into my room and she's like, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm about to close. Why? I was kind of like giving her an attitude because we were kind of like in a fight. So I kind of was giving her like the side eye, and I was like, why? And she's like, oh, me and director number 2 need your help. And I said, no, I have to do work in my room. And she's like, just come here, you'll see why. Once I heard the just come here, you'll see why, where is my eyeliner? Just come here, you'll see why. I was like, ooh, tea. So I went, and the director was freaking out. Like, when I tell you, I've never seen this woman so panicked in my whole entire life. And she's like, DCF's gonna be here tomorrow, I don't know what to do, this room is not done. If they come in here and see this room isn't done, they could shut us down. So I stayed. Again, this is what I'm talking about. I did more than I need to. Me, Emily, and director number 2 stayed an extra half an hour just to get that room together, just to get that room back up and running. That way, when they came, they could see like, okay, this classroom isn't in use, but it's set up. It's just what I'm just mentioning this just to show you guys like how much of a shit show this daycare was turning into. Next thing that happened, y'all, that really just showed me that this director was losing it when it came to like her sanity was when little Miss Elizabeth came to the daycare. Now, like I said, we were super short-staffed. When I first started working there, their rules were you have to have experience when it comes to early childhood education, okay? That was the rule. After a while, I don't know if they got desperate, I don't know what happened, but they started hiring anybody. You could literally work at a Subway and come in there and be like, I hate kids, can't stand them, I'm just here to get paid. They'd be like, you're hired, like literally. This girl came in and she did not have any experience working with kids, but she had a master's degree. And I don't care what anybody says, experience trumps education any day of the week. Do you know how many people would come into this daycare having master degrees and would be some of the worst teachers, didn't know their ass from their elbow, didn't know how to take care of kids, had no bedside manner, didn't like kids, would literally come in and work here? Make it make sense. Like, if 2 + 2 was 4 and 5 + 5 = 10, what is that? Like, anyway. So because she had a master's degree and because that looks good, that's the thing is with this daycare, it's all about looking good. It's not about the kids. It's not about making sure that everyone's happy and that these kids are having a good experience. It's about how much money can you bring us in? Because unfortunately, parents who are uneducated, and you can't blame them because they don't know, they come in, they'll be like, oh, does my daughter's teacher have a master's degree? Or does she have a bachelor's? And they'll be like, yeah. And they'll be like, okay, yeah, I want to bring her here. Even if that teacher is not good, worst bedside manner in the whole entire world, doesn't like kids, they don't care. As long as they hear that master's degree, they don't care. So they were like, basically like, oh, she can make us, you know, more money, whatever. So she comes in, her and another girl get hired around the same exact time, and so they're training and everything's going well. And they decide for whatever reason, you guys, they made me train so many people because they'd be like, oh, like you're one of our best teachers, you're such a valuable asset, I think that this person can learn a lot from you. And at one point I had to be like, get someone else to do it because I was fucking sick of it, you guys. I couldn't even run my classroom the way that I wanted to, do my curriculum, make sure these kids were eating and that their asses were getting wiped because they were throwing me teachers left and right. And this girl wasn't even going to be in a Todd. She was going to be in pre-K. So why am I training her? Have Paige, who is a pre-K teacher, train her. It made no freaking sense whatsoever. I have no fucking words, never. Right away, I start noticing red flags in her. She would always come in and she would be like jittery, like super jittery. Not even like a I just had coffee type of jittery, but like jittery, like she was on something. She had the skincare, she was a part of like Mary Kay for skincare, right? So she came in and she was giving us all like free samples of Mary Kay as like welcome baskets. And there was this one day where she was She was 45 minutes to an hour late coming back from break. I don't even know how you do that, okay? How does that even fucking happen? And so she walks in the building and she walks in my room. I'm over here like dying because one baby over there is crying for a bottle. Another baby's over there needing to get their ass wiped. Another kid is over here like little Tommy's falling off the freaking truck. Like a kid is crawling out of their crib, hanging on for dear. I am going crazy. I have 8 kids who are all screaming, where is my co-teacher? Where is Elizabeth? So she comes in, she's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, Dakota, I'm so sorry, like I don't know what it was. I was like literally running red lights to come back here. She didn't even have an excuse. Her excuse was that she lost track of time. For an hour. Be so for real right now. You was on the pipe, okay? So basically she comes back and she's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, here, take some more free samples, and like gives me like 4 Mary Kay supplements to put on my face, and I'm like, oh my god. So anyway, her training had come to an end with me, but not until I heard her whole life story about how she had this boyfriend and he basically mooched off of her and he was an addict and she didn't know how to get rid of him, and that her parents, because her parents were rich, okay, they lived in like Jersey City. You live in Jersey City, Hoboken, you gotta have some money to live out there, girl. It's like $50,000 just to breathe. So she was like, my parents are really well off, they want me to move back with them, but you know, I can't leave him, I just love him so much. And part of me felt bad for her, but then she started telling me all this stuff like this girl was stick thin because she was, yeah, so she was like, or no, I don't know what you do. What do you do with coke? Nah, she was definitely on heroin. I don't want this video to get demonetized, so we're gonna stop talking about that right now. She was on something, but anyway, she was like stick thin, and she'd be like, yeah, like he calls me fat all the time and ugly, and I don't know how to get away from him. And so I'm trying to tell her, I'm like, girl, like you need to get out of this relationship. Like you are not, like you should not be in this relationship, especially if you have your parents trying to help you. Like her dad was like, if you break up with him, I will pay your rent. You don't even have to come back home. I will pay your rent. I will pay your car note. I will pay everything. Just get rid of him. And so for a while she was lying and saying that she wasn't with him anymore, but she really was. And her dad was like paying her rent. And then he found out and was like, nope, I'm not giving you any more money. And she was like, yeah, my boyfriend knows if I call my dad and ask him to pay for something that he'll do it. And basically what happened is that they were spending all their money that they got on, you know, so because they were spending all their money on that, they had no money for like rent or electricity or anything like that. And so I'm over here trying to give her a pep talk, right? I'm like, girl, you need to get out, you need to get out, you need to get out. This girl was one of the worst teachers, and that is a statement, one of the worst teachers that ever walked in that building. She did not know how to control the kids, didn't know how to talk to the kids, didn't know how to do anything, had no social cues whatsoever. There was one day where a teacher went on break, came back in her room, I think it was Hannah, came back in her room, and I'm gonna put a picture right here of what I'm talking about, but there's these little like toys or like little like links, right, that you can link up and you can like basically like make into like a circle or a square or whatever. The kids were giving her such a hard time that she, guys, I'm not fucking kidding, I didn't see this, so I don't know, this is just hearsay, I'm not saying it's a fact, but apparently she had taken the little links and had put them around their wrists, and they were sitting there like this on the carpet, like on some concentration camp shit. Like, how do you still have a job after that? So once I heard that, and the teacher who walked in the room was like, Dakota, I'm not kidding, like I saw it with my own 2 eyes. And I guess she went to director number 2 and reported it, and director number 2 was like, oh, I talked to her and she said that she was just trying to get the kids to play the quiet game with handcuffs around your wrist. Girl, be so for real right now. So after that, I was like, oh, I don't fuck with her. Like, I'm sorry, but like, she's lucky that my daughter was not in that room, because I would have went in there and I would have started fighting her. I'm sorry, but I would have. I don't care when it comes to my kid. Pick somebody else to do it. There's multiple complaints about her. Like, everybody was complaining about her to the director, telling her like, you need to fire her. Like, I'm sorry, but she's not a good teacher. Like, she literally comes on here and she goes into the corner and dozes off. Like, literally dozes off. And we were trying to express our concerns that we feel like she's under the influence when she comes to work, and the director just did not want to hear it. Why? Because she had a master's degree and she would make us more money. That's not what she said, but you could tell that was the reason. And also, we were so understaffed that she didn't care as long as there was a body. As long as there was a body, she did not care. And by the way, you would think that at daycares that they drug screen you. They don't. All they ask for is a background check and fingerprints, but they don't screen you for anything. And I think that's absolute bullshit. If you are working with kids, you should be getting screened. But anyway, so there was one day where Spencer was like, I've had it. I know she's on something and I'm gonna get, oh, money started going missing. How did I forget this? Guys, money started going missing. My friend Lizzie literally had $100 in her purse. And by the way, we didn't have problems like that at this daycare. Sure, there was catty bullshit and drama, but we didn't have like Grand Theft Auto happening at this. That was not a thing. Like, we all trusted each other enough to know I could leave a bag with $1,000 in it. Nobody would have taken it. My friend Lizzie came in with $100 in her wallet, went on break when Elizabeth was covering for her, came back, and I guess she went to go in her her purse to get like I don't know, get something like chapstick or lip gloss, whatever, and she said that her $100 was missing. Another teacher, oh, it was Paige, had a checkbook in her purse. She got a notification from her bank saying that like $600 had gotten taken out of her account. And she's like, $600 for what? Like, I didn't make a $600 purchase. And they were like, oh, it was a check. Somebody Elizabeth took her checkbook and wrote herself a check for $600 and cashed it in. And all of this was happening around the time that Elizabeth started. So we were like, it's obvious that it's Elizabeth, because who else would it be? We've all worked here together for almost like over a year now, and we've never had an issue. All of a sudden Elizabeth comes in and kids are getting their hands tied, money's going missing. So Paige was like, no, like, I'm done with this. Like, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this and find out what's going on. And also, people who are addicts will do that. They will steal because, number one, they're under the influence and they don't realize right from wrong at that time. But number two, because they're an addict and they need money for their vices. Like, they need money for their things. So they'll steal from people to get it. And it just made sense. Like, and that's why I don't mean to tell her business, but I'm telling you the story of like her boyfriend, because that makes sense. Like, if her boyfriend is that down bad and needs money for something, she's gonna call her dad. And if her dad can't give it to her, or he won't because he hates her boyfriend, what else is she gonna do? She's gonna steal money. Like, hello. We were also reporting that to director number 2, and she just was like, well, I can't accuse her of it because there was no cameras at this daycare. Some daycares have cameras, others don't. We didn't. And she's like, I can't accuse her of stealing money. Like, there's no proof. And we're like, the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the patterns. This started when she began working here. What do you think happened? Like, oh my God. Spencer one day is like, nah, I'm gonna figure it out. Spencer was like, I'm gonna look through her phone. Like, she came up with this diabolical plan and was like, I don't care. Like, I'm over. Like, I'm looking through her phone. Like, it's just gonna happen. So one day, I don't know what it was or what was in the air, but Miss Elizabeth left her purse in the room when she went on break. So Spencer was like, she's asking for it. Like, she's asking for it. So Spencer looked through her phone, y'all, literally looked through her phone and found a message from one of her best friends. And they were going back and forth, and the girl was basically saying, like, you've changed so much. Like, you're not the same person as like when we first started becoming friends. Like, you're falling apart. And then she just goes, Elizabeth, you're a drug addict. Like, literally was like, you're a drug addict. Spencer read that shit and was like, I fucking knew it. I knew it. And so Spencer didn't like go around like the daycare telling everybody, because no, but like she told, you know, like the girls, like me, Emily, you know, like Paige, Allison, whatever. And she's like, yo, like, there's confirmation right here that she is like a drug addict. And she's like, but I can't tell the director because, well, you know what? Actually, she could have, and or maybe she did. I don't remember. I don't think she did, because her thing was like, I can't tell her that because then I'm gonna get in trouble for like looking through somebody's phone. Y'all, this combination, the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter, is literally so good. This is not a foundation. This is more so for like just a nice like luminous glow. And you already know I swear by this foundation, L'Oreal Infallible. Like, this foundation is literally like, it's too good. It's too good. So she, I think, felt like, oh, I can't go tell her because that's an invasion of privacy. But not for nothing, but an invasion of privacy was also when Hannah went in there and showed her our group chat. So F the invasion of privacy. Apparently we don't have that here. There's no Code of Merlin here, like in Halloween Town. What is wrong with me? My brain just be saying some wild things. Also, I am gonna bring this down to my neck, but not in my white robe. The robe is a vibe. I'm like obsessed with it. Once we found that, we were like, oh no, this girl, like she has to go. Like there's literally an addict that is here at a daycare around children. Like guys, I don't think you realize how serious that is. Like that's not good. So over time, I am not really sure what happened, but one day we just, like everybody was trying to convince director number 2 to fire her. We were like, you have more than enough reason to fire her. Like the cuffs behind the back, like that was already enough reason. Her showing up late every single day and always coming back late from her breaks, that is more than enough reason. Like there was literally so many things that she could have done, like to fire her. There was more than probable cause there. And also, I don't think the girl cared about the job that much anyway. I don't think she would have given a crap. So she just keeps saying, no, like I can't do that. Like we need her here. We're understaffed. And one day, I don't know what it was, but she didn't come back. She didn't come to work. She didn't call. She did no call, no show. Director number 2 was like adamant about trying to get her there. She was asking us if any of us have heard anything. This was all in like a week span, by the way. Like I know the way I'm talking, it seems like it's like a month, but all of this drama happened literally over a week. So she didn't come back, and we all were kind of like looking at director number 2 like, you see what happened? You were vouching for her to stay here, for an addict to be working here at a daycare around children, and look at what happened. She quit on you. She didn't care about you. She didn't care about how you were going to walk in and be understaffed. She didn't care about how it was going to affect the daycare. Like, use your brain. Like, stop letting people stay here just to have a body. Like, whatever happened to quality? Quality over quantity. Apparently not at Apple Pear. So anyway, that happened. She ended up leaving, and we were just like, thank God. So this is when stuff really started getting down bad, okay? In the midst of all of this, as this is happening, things are just going on at this freaking center, okay, that just were not legal. Like literally were not legal. So the rule is that somebody who closes the building has to be a director or assistant director. Now, in a case of an emergency, like say something happens, like I don't know, like someone is at the hospital and they're about to give birth, and the director is there and they're like related to them or something like that, and they have to like dip and piece out the building, that is a reason to get a teacher to close the building, right? To be like, hey, like I have to go, there's nobody else here to close, can you just stand up here, take calls on the phone if you need to, talk to the parents, answer any questions that they have, and you know, I'll be back tomorrow, thanks for doing me a solid. That's normal. To do that 3 times a week is not normal. There was a time where I closed the building. They were so desperate because there was a situation like that. It was an emergency, and they had to have someone close the building, and they were like, we don't know who to do it. And they were like, oh, Dakota, like, and they were like, we trust you. Like, we don't trust anybody else to do this that's still here at the moment. Like, can you please close? And I did, and I did a good job. But okay, here's the reason why you can't do that. God forbid an emergency happens where, say, a kid falls and busts their skull open, or say a parent comes in and they have a tuition question that needs to be answered right then and there. Say a robber comes in and tries to steal something, or just like emergencies. Somebody who is not a director or assistant director is not qualified to help them with that emergency. So that's why you need a director, a D or an AD, a director or assistant director there, in order to basically make sure that everything is running smoothly. So, like I said, in a case of an emergency, it is absolutely fine. But direction number 2 was having Paige close the building really, really often. And I will say Paige was and still is a great, phenomenal teacher. She loves kids. She's great with the kids. Like, they all literally loved her. I've never met a kid that was in her class that didn't like her. She really does like dedicate her time and energy to the kids, and she's very well educated. She's a great teacher, right? And she would make a great leader, like a great director or assistant director, whatever, right? But that is not in her job description. She is a teacher in the daycare. She's not a closer, she's not a director or AD, whatever. So basically director number 2 was like tired of doing 12-hour shifts. So what she would do is at the end of the day, she would have Paige come up and she would have her close down the building while she went home. And whatever, that's fine, but like that's illegal. Like at the same time, like we didn't care obviously because we were like whatever, and she did a great job closing the building down, but like again, that is illegal. If the state were to come in at any point in time, we would be shut down. Like these are just things that she wasn't thinking about. So after a certain amount of time, she was telling people that she was grooming, I don't know why she said it like that, she could have just said training, but she's like, I'm grooming Paige to be my program specialist, because there was a position at that daycare called a program specialist. And when I first worked there, they had this guy, Chris, doing it, which I love him to this day. Chris, if you're watching this, what's up? And they had this other girl, Nicole, doing it. And then when Nicole left, they just never filled the position again. And it's not really needed. Like a program specialist is supposed to go around, make sure the curriculum is being done in the classroom. If you need any supplies, you put in the order with them. But basically, whenever we'd have a program specialist, because the daycare was so unorganized, the program specialist was mainly just the person that would do bitch duties, like closing down the building every night. They would take advantage of them, be like, I'm going home, you close the building. Number 2 was not making Paige the assistant director, which we all were like, why wouldn't you just make her the assistant director? It doesn't make any sense. So she was like, I'm grooming her to be my program specialist. So she promised Paige, she said, keep doing, you know, what you're doing. If I need you to close, if I need you to do this, you do this, like whatever, right? And I promise I will make you a program specialist, okay? Remember that. As all this is happening, like I said, this daycare is just becoming increasingly worse and worse. Parents are complaining. Enrollment rate is dropping. We have the general manager of all of the, oh my God, I keep almost saying the name, all of the apple pears in Connecticut coming in all the time just to do like drop-ins on us and see how we're doing and make sure everything's going smoothly. So there's this one day where we come into the daycare and, you know, typical morning, we're at a ratio, everything's crazy. It's like, picture a lunch rush at a restaurant. That's what it was like working at this daycare. It was like just always playing catch up. So lunchtime comes around and we notice that the food's not here. Now Hannah, like I said in the past story time, was the chef. Because our other chef, Rob, quit because he was done. He was like, I'm over this. Like, I did not sign up to be a teacher. I signed up to be a chef. Why am I having to do bathroom breaks all the time? So we noticed that there's no lunch, and like we're confused because we go outside, we come back in, and we're preparing for lunch and lunch isn't there. So we're calling the other rooms and we're asking them like, hey, did you guys get lunch? Like what's going on, whatever. And they're like, no, there is no lunch. And we're like, what do you mean there's no lunch? Like these kids need to eat. These parents pay half a mortgage, not half a mortgage, baby, a full mortgage, for the kids to come here and eat. What are you talking about? And they were like, director number 2 forgot to put in the order for the food. This place was not a place where you could just like go to Stop and Shop and get, you know, some green eggs and ham and come back and make it. You had to put in food orders at the beginning of every single month. The food orders would always come in on a Thursday. It'd be this huge ass food truck, and it would be like a huge ass, like it looked like an Amazon truck almost. And they would come in and they would deliver the food. There was no food because she did not put in the order. And if you don't put in the order, like say she were to put it in that day, they wouldn't have come until a week later. So we were gonna be without food for a week because she never put it in. So in her mind, she said, I'll just order pizza. Like I'll order like the whole center pizza, right? And so we're like, all right, you know what, like mistakes happen, fine. Like we totally get it. Like, okay, like order pizza, cool, awesome. Maybe we can have a slice, hey, like whatever. When I tell you this lady ordered 3 boxes, not even a large, 3 medium pizzas for how many classrooms? 12 classrooms. 12 classrooms. For over probably like 200 people, she ordered 3 boxes of pizza. Guys, I'm not joking. Like literally like 3, guys, I'm not kidding. Okay, maybe it wasn't 3, maybe it was like 5, but still, girl. When I tell you these kids got a slice of pizza that was this big, I'm not kidding. Like cut the cameras. I wish I was kidding. I'm not kidding. So at that point, we all were just done. We were like, cause listen, the director before her, I'm not gonna say she was the best, but she for damn sure would never make a mistake like that. That is just pure negligence. what are you doing? To make matters worse, the regional director, did I call her anything? I don't remember what I called her, but we're gonna call her the regional manager of all of the apple pears of Connecticut comes in, or she calls and she says, hey, I'm gonna come there tomorrow and we're gonna have a staff meeting. So director number 2 starts telling everybody like, hey, we're gonna have a staff meeting tomorrow. And we're like, oh, because at this point we hadn't had a staff meeting in months, like 3 months probably. You're supposed to have one once a month. We haven't had any. So we're like, oh, like we're doing staff meetings again. And she's like, oh no, you know, the regional like director, the regional manager wants to come in and basically just have like a discussion. She's like, I don't know what it's about, honestly. I knew what it was about. You're getting fired. Like, I don't know how this went over her head, but like, homegirl, you're done. Like, you pack your stuff, you're done. Like, you're getting fired. There's no other way around that. When a regional manager calls a staff meeting, someone's getting fired. Somebody is getting fired. So what we started doing was, well, this is the part that I don't understand. Paige starts going around and she starts basically like writing down complaints from everybody, because she was like, I think this is a great opportunity for us to all have a conversation about how things have been going, even though we've already tried to have conversations with her about how things were going, and she genuinely didn't have time to listen. I will say, like, I'm not talking bad about director number 2, because she genuinely didn't have time to listen because she had so much going on. She was like running a whole building by herself, but it doesn't excuse the things that happened, right? Just because a behavior is understandable doesn't mean that it's excused. She's like, I think this is a great opportunity. You know, the regional manager will be there so she can help us and we can talk to her about our concerns. So everybody kind of like wrote down, I didn't write down shit, 'cause I was like, I'm not involved in this. I am not involved in this at all, because I know this is messy. This is messy. The meeting ends up happening, right? We go to work the next day. We get off of work. I believe I was working until 6:30 that day, and then I had to stay till 7:30 for this stupid staff meeting. The regional manager comes in, everyone's sitting there, director number 2 comes in, you know, she's sitting down, she's getting a chair, and the regional manager goes, oh, no, you're not. She goes to my director of that apple pear, director number 2, oh, no, you're not staying, you have to leave. And she's like, because I guess director number 2 thought that this was like a staff meeting for all of us to kind of like voice what's been going on and things like that. And so she had a full list ready. She came into that meeting and she had a list ready of complaints that she was gonna make, and she thought that was gonna be what the meeting was about. And she was like, oh, no, like this meeting's about, like, you know, to get to the bottom of what's been going on, like, but I know that these teachers are not going to be comfortable. Like, imagine in front of your director telling the regional manager of your establishment that you're working at your complaints. No, because then you know that your job is going to be on the line. Like, you know what I'm saying? So she was like, I know they're not going to be comfortable talking about it in front of you, so like you can go to your office. And when I tell you, director number 2's face was like devastated. I felt bad for her. I'm not going to lie, in that moment I did feel really bad for her. So she walks out and the regional manager sits down and she goes, okay, lay it on me. What's been going on? When I tell you, it was like that scene from Mean Girls where...
Okay, so what we could do today is a couple exercises to help you express your anger in a healthy way. Let's start over here.
Acting really stuck up ever since you switched to short fielder, and Dawn agrees with me.
Dawn?
Don't drag me into this. I'm pitching tomorrow.
Tại sao mày danh két của tao là mày vậy?
Mày chỉ có ghen vì mấy thằng con trai thích tao nhiều hơn thôi mày.
Làm ơn đi mày, không dám đâu.
That's exactly what this scene was like. Everybody just started letting freaking loose on how they felt, on what was going on how things have been. And it was like an hour meeting, you guys, of people just going off, just talking their shit, whatever. I think I said one thing. I think the main thing that was my concern was staff coming in to the building sick, because that was another thing. If somebody was sick, they would still have to come in because we genuinely had no staff. But it was like, and like for me though, it wasn't like that. Like there was a time where something happened with Aubrey where like, I don't know what it was, but her foot, like something happened with her foot. She was like walking one day and she took a nap like at nap time, and then her teacher called me and she was like, I don't know what happened, but like Aubrey's like not walking. Like we go to have her walk and she starts crying, and I took her to multiple hospitals, multiple doctors. Nobody knew what was wrong with her, and director number 2 let me stay out of work for a whole entire week, and that was like unheard of at that place. Like you got maybe a day off if you were lucky. And if she had the staff to cover, I genuinely know that she would have, but it's like we really didn't have it. I just think she didn't know what to do. She was at a loss of resources, and I don't know what I would have done in her position. I probably would have quit, honestly, but she has a family to feed too. Like I get it, right? So this blush is so pretty. It's my friend Romance came over and she's like, oh my god, you have that blush, I want to use it. It's a Juvia's Place volume 4, and this is what it looks like. It's only $16 and you get 2. So a light color. They have it in so many colors. If you have like a darker skin tone and maybe like this is too much for you, or you have like a lighter skin tone, it's too much, I don't know. They have all different, which is what I love about that brand. Juvia's Place, they genuinely make makeup for all skin types, and I love that. It's amazing. So that was my only complaint, was that like people had to come in sick, and that concerned me because my daughter goes there. Like she's like, all right, you know what, thank you guys so much, I heard your concerns, I'm gonna take them into consideration. I'm gonna bring these back to director number 2 and we're gonna have a game plan. I knew in my head that she was getting, I don't know how, nobody like thought in their mind that she was getting fired. I knew I was like, y'all don't realize what's happening. Like she is building a case against her to fire her. Like y'all don't see this? Like I don't understand. Nobody saw it. I was the only person that saw it. So the next day comes, and you know, going to work, it's a pretty normal day. The regional manager and one other manager ended up coming to Apple Pear around 2 o'clock. And we just thought that they were coming to talk to director number 2 about what had happened last night. But we did not know what was about to happen, okay? I get told to go into one of my coworkers' rooms. They said, hey, we're like really short staffed today. What we're gonna do is we are going to send your kids into the other infant room to free you up so you can go help out so-and-so in the twos, right? So I go and I help out so-and-so in the twos, and it is time for us to go outside. So we're getting the kids all ready to go outside. We're getting, you know, their jackets on, we're getting their shoes on, everything like that. Director number 2's daughter was in that room with us. She had a daughter that went to the daycare. She comes in and she has her sunglasses on, and she is sobbing, like literally sobbing. You could just see that there's tears all down her face. And she comes in, and me and the teacher I was with at the time just knew. We just knew what happened. We were like, she just got fired. We knew. And you guys, even though, yes, maybe things were disorganized, maybe, I don't know, maybe things weren't the best, I felt so bad for her, because there's a way, there's a time and a place, and there's a way to fire somebody. Like, if you see things are going bad, come in and be like, hey, listen, we're gonna put you on like basically like a fucking behavior plan, and tell you that if things don't get better at this date, we're gonna revisit this conversation, and it's gonna be maybe you getting fired, but like this is your chance to you know, get your ducks in a row. There was none of that. It was just like, you're fired. Like, that's it. And the thing that I also didn't like too is like, she had a daughter, she had a family to provide for, and they just didn't care. I felt really bad for her. She came in and she was just sobbing, and she was like, I remember she put her hand out like this, and she was like, you guys, I wish you the best, genuinely. I hope things go okay for you. I'm really sorry for the way that these next couple weeks are gonna be, because they're gonna be really bad, but like I don't have a choice. I have to go, and that's it. And she just was like sobbing, and I remember like we ended up going up to her and giving her a hug because we felt so bad for her, and we got all of her daughter's like things ready. And that's the thing too, she had to go in the classroom to get her daughter, go in her daughter's classroom to get all of her things, pack up all of her stuff in her office, and leave. And they only gave her like 20 minutes to do it. And that's one thing they did at this daycare, was it because nobody, I think when I worked there, only like 3 people got fired, and it was always for like a dumb reason. Like people would come in and do like the most illegal just the worst things ever, and you'd be like, yo, how do they still have a job here? And they wouldn't get fired. But if they didn't like you or they had something against you, you got fired like on the spot, and you only had like a certain amount of time to go and get your shit, right? That is what happened in this situation. And I just remember I felt so bad, because nobody deserves to go out like that, you know? No one deserves to have that happen to them. And I felt so bad for her. Like, I genuinely was like, oh, like, that really sucks. And although, like, I do think that maybe that wasn't the right, like, job for her. Like, not me not finishing the story time. I literally, my camera died, and I was like, you know what? And you know what? I'm so fucking mad, too, because I'm pretty sure I finished the makeup look. I think I went off camera and, like, did my lips or something. I don't remember. I really don't remember. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna finish up. My camera died, so I was like, I'm gonna finish up my eyes, and then I'll come back, I'll finish the story and do my outro. I forgot. I thought I was done. Like, I thought I was done. And then today I woke up and I was like, Dakota, you never finished the story time. What the fuck is wrong with you? Y'all, I swear, when you get older, your brain, like, I'm gonna be 20, first of all, I'm gonna be 29 next month. That is sickening to say. Second of all, my memory is just like, I don't fucking understand, but I'll show y'all the finished look right here. Okay, slay, yeah. I gotta remind myself once in a while that I still got it when it comes to this makeup shit, but it came out so good. But anyway, I don't know really where I left off. I think I just left off where, like, she ended up getting fired, right? Director number 2 ended up getting fired and she left. Now, if you thought that having a daycare being ran by just one person was chaotic and stressful enough, imagine your director, like your boss, like wherever you're at work, imagine your boss being fired. And the next day you're coming in, you have no idea who's gonna run your building, who's gonna orchestrate things, who's gonna organize things. I mean, it wasn't organized already, but now we were really like, fucked, you guys. We had no director there. And the parents were all like, well, what's gonna happen? Like, you guys fired her, but like, there's no replacement yet. What are you guys gonna do? It was just so, I feel like at least they should have given her 2 weeks. They should have been like, listen, you know what? This is your last 2 weeks here. We'll hire a replacement in the meantime. You guys, they had, oh no, you know what? They did have one person. They did end up hiring an assistant director. Her name was, I think, Cheryl. I'm just going to call her that because I did not like her. She was so rude. They had her, basically they fired director number 2, and Cheryl had just started. Imagine being hired as an assistant director of a facility, and a week after you get hired, the director, your coworker, your boss essentially gets fired, and you know nothing about the building, you know nothing about the teachers, you know, because an assistant director doesn't run the center, the director does. So it's like, you know nothing about, and she's never been an assistant director at like a daycare before. I don't think she ever even worked with kids before. I don't even know why they hired her. It really makes no sense. And she ended up doing that job for 3 days and then quitting. So after she quit, we really had, you guys, we had nobody. They had to bring a director from one of the apple pears in like the next town over, get somebody from another center, like a program specialist, to come to her center to cover her, and then she came to our center as they were hiring somebody on. And the reason I didn't like Cheryl was because when she was figuring out the schedule, before she had left, I talked with my director number 2, and I said, listen, I've been here for almost 3 years. I have worked the 6:30 like shift for the longest time. I want to leave early. I live a half an hour, 40 minutes away from here. By the time I get home, I have my 2-year-old with me. She has to take a bath. She has to eat. She has to go to bed. Like, I barely get to spend time with her. On top of it, getting home, there's so much traffic. Can I please leave at like 5:30? Like, that was what I was requesting. And she was like, yeah, no problem. But when the assistant director they hired, Cheryl, I think that was her name, ended up getting hired, she was like changing everybody's schedule. And so I went up to her and I was like, hey, like, I noticed in the schedule this week that I'm here till 6:30, but I had talked to director number 2 and we had already made a plan that like I could start leaving at 5:30. And by the way, there was seniority here. If you worked there for a long time, you basically had like first pick over the people who had like just started. And so she's like, well, why do you have to leave at 5:30? And I'm like, well, first of all, it's not your fucking business. I didn't say that, but I was like, well, because, you know, I have a 2-year-old and like by the time I get out of here, I have to commute 40 minutes home. I don't live near here. Okay. I was like, she has to take a bath, she has to eat, she has to go to bed. Like, it's just like, it's chaotic. I feel like I don't get to spend time with her. I was like, it's just a lot. So like, I requested if I could leave at 5:30, and she's like, oh my God, no way. She has to eat, take a bath, and go to bed.
Cut the cameras.
It has to be a mental illness. It fucking has to be. I'm not even gonna get into that because I'll get mad all over again, but bitch, I was ready to, oh, the Lord is testing me and I did not study. So anyway, she left. And so she left, they were not nice to her. Like, she basically came in and she was like, listen, I want to put in my 2 weeks. I just feel like, you know, I came here and I was told that I was just going to be an assistant director and I was going to be under director number 2 and she was going to train me. She wasn't even trained. And she was basically like running our building without, she had no idea what she was doing. She barely knew the parent. She just started. So a parent would like imagine you're a parent and you get told, hey, the director of this center just got fired, but don't worry, the assistant director that we just hired, who has no experience with kids, is gonna run the building. And then when you go to ask her a question, she doesn't know because she's never been trained, and you can't even blame her. Like, I didn't like her that much, but I will say she was at an unfair advantage. So she kind of came in, she's like, listen, I think I'm gonna put in my 2 weeks. I know I'm trying to be respectful as possible, but I feel like this is just, I'm biting off more than I can chew. Like, this is a very like stressful situation. And for me, my mental health, I feel like I need to take a step back. And they were like, you can go now. You can go now. They were like, we're so disappointed. Like, you just put us in the worst position ever. You can go now. What do you mean she put y'all in the worst position? Y'all should have given director number 2 2 weeks so you could find a replacement. You guys decided to fire her on the spot. I'm gonna leave it off here. I'm gonna leave it off here, but don't worry, because next week we're gonna come back and we're gonna sit and we're gonna continue and go on to part 3, okay? Because y'all, there's so much more tea. I'm gonna get into how they ended up hiring a teacher to be with me and we became really good friends, but then I started dating her cousin and she started hating me, and then other girls started hating me because of it, and I basically got like, in one of my past story times I said like I got fired in the thumbnail, but that was just to like attract attention because you know how YouTube is. I never was fired from this place. Basically, eventually something happened when the new director came in and my coworker started hating me because I was dating her cousin. They stopped putting me on the schedule because a lot of reasons, but basically I'm going to tell y'all about the downfall and all the drama and the tea that happened with that. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn your post notifications on. The way you're always notified every single time I post a video here on YouTube, period. That way you never miss my face every single week. While you're at it too, Sis Let's Heal is back, y'all. Sis Let's Heal is back. I just uploaded an episode yesterday. It's an hour long. Sis Let's Heal is my personal development podcast. I told a story time on there that I've never told here on YouTube before, that I would never tell on YouTube. So if y'all want the tea on that, it's over an hour long. If you're going to the gym or if you're going for a run or you're going for a long drive, pop it in and listen to my podcast. I'm telling you, the tea there is piping hot. If you think it's hot here, it's even hotter on my podcast. Today's post notification shout out goes to Victoria Beck. Victoria, you are a ride or die subscriber, and I just cannot tell you how much from the bottom of my heart that I love you. You are under all of my videos, always commenting. She spam comments because she wants like people to be able to find my videos. And if you guys don't know, the more you comment, the more YouTube puts the video out there, as well as like. The more you like, the more you comment, the more engagement, the more YouTube will put my video on people's homepages so more people can come watch us and join our Coda Crew family. Victoria, I just can't express from the bottom of my heart how much I love you. You are a ride or die fan. You are an OG subscriber. You are always like commenting on my videos. You're always messaging me, telling me how proud of me you are and that I'm one of your favorite YouTubers, and I just can't express how much I truly love you, girl. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. You are an amazing subscriber. And she said, I just want to let you know I'm so grateful for you. I don't know what I would do without you. You've helped me grow so much, and I can't thank you enough. I cannot thank you enough, girl. Because of subscribers like you, I'm able to live out my dream and do YouTube for a living, to be able to be a present mom for my daughter, and to be able to just come on here and do what I love. So seriously guys, thank you so much. If you also would like a post notification shout out, all you have to do is comment something down below and let me know as well that you like, I know Victoria has her post notifications on because she told me a long time ago, but if you comment something and then at the very end of the comment put done in all caps, that means that I will know that you have your post notifications shout out turned on, okay? So if you guys want to be shouted out, just do that. And yeah, I'm just so happy to be finally doing the freaking daycare series. But I love y'all so much. Stay safe, use condoms, don't let anybody's crusty, dusty, rusty, musty son get you in your feelings, and know that you are loved and appreciated and valued at all times. Bye! Bye!
Baby, I wonder, would you just put your sweats on for me? Yeah. I got the plug, I made the call for me.